So with that, we've got the owner's perspective. We understand what the general contractor has to do, how they can add value. We understand the architect's perspective. So now, how do you wrap all that together and start marketing your pre-construction services to owners and architects?
Well, you know, David, I could talk for hours on that area because it's what I did. It's how I grew my business. But I'll turn it into more of a discussion on what happens when you get the interview. There's a lot of work goes into even getting your name on the list so that you get invited to a project. But once you do, if there's going to be a CM at risk, design build, or whatever, more than likely you're going to have to interview for it against other contractors. Probably most of my experience and knowledge I've gained comes from when I was representing owners, directly helping owners select contractors and architects. And I used to interview contractors. And it was amazing. It's kind of what I said earlier. I would have 3 contractors, and 2 of them would show me the glossy slides of their projects and talk about their family history, and there was always one guy there that would tell me where the utilities were located and how far they were going to have to come to the project, and where my risks were, and what could go wrong, and what materials I should be considering because of the labor markets. They would be so detailed into the project. That's who I wanted to go with every time. And it's typically because they did their homework and their research up front. The first call that should be made when you're invited to go after a project should be to the architect. You should be in his office. You should be absolutely getting into his head to understand the owner and also understand what the designer is trying to accomplish and break down that barrier between contractor and architect right then, because that architect will have a huge influence on who gets selected for the project. You need to be able to articulate and show the owner exactly how you're going to manage the design process, how you're going to keep the project in the budget. You've got to give him examples and specifics of how you can actually do that. You can't just talk about value engineering and collaboration. You've got to give them specifics. It's in the details. I can't tell you how many times I would go into an interview and have a complete estimate for the job, and it could be way off. It could be wrong, but I did the work and I did the detail work for the presentation so that they would know that that's the kind of contractor we were and the kind of detail that we got into.